I moved home to Michigan 5 years ago to serve families like mine that have been divided by the prison system. Detroit was about to file the largest ever municipal bankruptcy, and people couldn't seem to decide if we were 50 years ahead or 50 years behind the rest of the country. It's clear to me that we're 50 years ahead. We don't have any illusions about American capitalism. My neighbors have told me stories about the old days when you could get fired from Ford and walk across the street and get an even better job at GM. And now they can also tell stories of decades of unemployment, losing their homes to foreclosure, and of getting swept up in the criminal justice system. Detroit is a city of solutionaries with so much to teach the world about how to live and how to care for each other. We are decades ahead of the curve in things like urban agriculture. When grocery stores left and people didn't want to leave, they taught themselves how to farm and how to build resilient local food systems. But now those experiments are under threat because that land is valuable to developers in a way that it wasn't before. And so they need legal support to shore up things like community land trust that will keep that land in people's hands for generations to come. I founded the Detroit Justice Center on the belief that we cannot build cities that work for everyone without addressing mass incarceration. And why do I say that? Because over the last 5 years, I saw families impacted by incarceration having to make impossible choices between putting groceries on the table or taking a collect call from a loved one in prison. I saw families where an unpaid traffic ticket became a missed court date, which became a warrant for failure to appear, which became incarceration. And until now, these families have not had anywhere to turn because, like so much else in Detroit, the legal infrastructure was decimated. At the Detroit Justice Center, we use a three-pronged approach, what I call defense, offense, and dreaming, because we need all three under one roof. We go on defense for our clients with our legal services practice. So that is where we are bailing people out of jail. We are addressing fines, fees, tickets, warrants, suspended licenses, all these things that are keeping people shut out of the economy. And then we go on offense with our economic equity practice. So that is where our attorneys are shoring up all of the visionary work that organizers in Detroit came up with over decades. So we are shoring up renter and worker cooperatives, community land trust, building enterprises for returning citizens coming back from prison, so all of these transformative economic solutions. And finally, we have our Just City Innovation Lab, and that is where we dream, and we pilot solutions that are replicable in cities across the country. So we know that it's not enough to talk about what we're tearing down in terms of mass incarceration, because we will tear down jails and prisons. We will tear down jails and prisons. But it is just as important to think about what we're going to build next. And so we're building towards a vision of a just city. So a just city could be one where instead of just tolerating our beloved returning citizens coming home, we put out a welcome mat. Instead of a school to prison pipeline, we're building prison to job and prison to higher education pipelines. This fall, we're running design workshops with architects and designers who are going to work with young people in Detroit. And we'll ask, instead of another youth jail, a 160-bed youth jail, what could we build for you instead that would make you feel valued and empowered? We're going to pilot restorative justice programs that deal with cases of serious gun violence in the city. So that is the world that we're building towards. And we invite you into this dream space with us. And I want to hear your visions for what this world beyond prisons will look like, where our cities are just, equitable, and affordable for generations to come. Thank you.